Okay, let's picture something for a second. Imagine you're standing in the biggest, most incredible library you can possibly think of, the library of all literature. We're talking endless shelves, stacks that go up to the ceiling, millions and millions of books. It's amazing. But it's also a little much, right? You know that feeling, right? You walk into a giant bookstore and you just freeze. Where do you even begin? Are you looking for an adventure, a romance, something that's really going to make you think? Without some kind of guide, you could get lost in there forever.
But here's the thing. There's a secret map to this whole place. A key, really, that unlocks everything and helps you find exactly what you're looking for pretty much every time. And that map, well, it's called genre.
So how in the world does this map actually work? Let's dive in and break down what a literary genre really is and how it turns that overwhelming library into a place you can actually navigate.
At its heart, genre is just a way of sorting books. We group them together based on what they're about, that's the content, how they're written, which is the form, or their overall vibe, their style. It's kind of like the original recommended for you algorithm, but for the last few thousand years of writing.
And yeah, there are a million different subgenres out there, but almost everything, and I mean everything, fits into one of three huge main categories. Let's stick with our library idea and think of these as the three main aisles.
And here they are: poetry, drama, and prose. That's it. Every book, every play, every poem you've ever read slots into one of these. So let's take a walk down that first aisle, the one where words start to act a lot like music. First up, poetry. This is the section where the sound of the words, the rhythm, the beat, it's all just as important as what the words actually mean. This is literature that's designed to sing.
So what makes poetry poetry? Well, look at how it's built. Prose, which is most of what we read, uses sentences and paragraphs. But poetry is different. It's constructed with lines and stanzas, and it has this deliberate rhythm, a kind of heartbeat that gives it that musical quality.
Let's get specific and look at a classic form, the sonnet. How do you pack a whole universe of emotion into just 14 lines? Well, that's the magic of it. It's this compact little poem, traditionally about love, with a very specific and complex rhyme scheme. It's like a tiny, perfectly constructed puzzle box of emotion. And Shakespeare is a master of this. Here, he's not giving these over-the-top compliments. He's doing the exact opposite. He's saying his love is real, she's not some fantasy cliché, and that's the genius of it, using that super strict 14-line format to say something totally unexpected and powerful. Now, on the complete other end of the poetry spectrum, you've got the epic. If a sonnet is like a tiny, detailed portrait, an epic is a massive, sprawling mural. These are the big ones, long, grand poems that tackle huge subjects like heroes, gods, and the fate of entire nations.
I mean, just listen to the opening of Paradise Lost. Of man's first disobedience. Whoa, it doesn't get much heavier than that, right? The language is grand, the subject is literally the biggest deal imaginable. You know from the very first line that you're in for an enormous, world-shaking story. That's what an epic does. All right, let's head down the next main aisle in our library. This is drama, and this is literature that doesn't just sit on the page. No, it's designed to leap off it, to be performed, to be seen and heard, brought to life by actors on a stage. The key thing to get about drama is that the script you read, that's just the blueprint. The real thing is the performance. It's built on dialogue, what the characters say to each other, and stage directions, which are the instructions for the actors. The words are only half the story. It's not complete until it's acted out.
And inside drama, you've got two ancient, super famous categories, tragedy and comedy. You know these, right? Tragedies are about the downfall of a great hero, often ending in disaster and death, asking these huge questions about fate. Comedies, on the other hand, are all about celebrating life. They're full of humor and mix-ups, and they almost always end with a big, happy celebration, usually a wedding. Okay, time for our third and final aisle in the library. This one is probably the biggest and the one you spend the most time in. It's prose. This is the real engine of storytelling, covering everything from wild fantasy worlds to stone-cold facts.
So what is prose? It's actually super simple. It's just normal writing. Sentences that make paragraphs, but don't let that simplicity fool you, because its power is its incredible range. This one category holds two absolutely enormous worlds, fiction and nonfiction.
And the line between those two worlds boils down to one simple question.
Is this story real, or did someone make it up? Fiction is the stuff that comes from an author's imagination. Nonfiction, on the other hand, is based on fact. A novel versus a history book. A fairy tale versus a biography. That's the difference.
Take a famous example of fiction, To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, Scout, Atticus, the town of Maycomb, they feel so incredibly real, don't they? But they were all created in Harper Lee's imagination. And that's the power of great fiction. It uses a made-up story to tell us something deeply true about our own world.
Now, put that next to a book like Night. This isn't imagined. It's the true, factual story of Elie Wiesel's own experiences during the Holocaust. It's a memoir, and its power comes from the complete opposite place, from the fact that it is horribly, undeniably real. See? Both use prose, but they work in totally different ways.
Okay, so we've walked down our three main aisles: poetry, drama, and prose. We've seen what makes each one unique. But so what? Why does any of this matter to us, right now as readers?
Well, for one thing, it shows us how storytelling itself has changed over time. Just look at this. We went from ancient epic poems like Beowulf to Shakespeare's plays for a live audience, and then, boom, the novel, like Robinson Crusoe, takes over thanks to the printing press. Genres aren't set in stone. They change with the world around them.
So in the end, genre is just a really useful tool. It's our map, right? It tells us what to expect. Is this story going to be true or made up? Is this something I'm supposed to read quietly by myself or watch with a crowd? It's the system that organizes that whole massive library and makes it something we can all explore and enjoy.
Which brings us to a really cool final thought. We've gone from epic poems to plays to novels. So, what's next? In our world, with interactive video games and giant movie universes and stories told over social media, what do you think the next great literary genre is going to be? What new aisle is being built in that library right now? Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?